Now, Cap's commissary is pretty mediocre for the majority of the player base. However, for my alt account, it can be a pretty massive game changer, and here is why. So this bundle right here, this 6-star rank up bundle gives me a 2 to 3 generic gem for 7.7 million gold. Now that is a ton of gold, and if you can tell, my gold is nowhere near that right now. However, there is a plan that I can put into place that can get me that gold and get me that rank up gem to get easy Thronebreaker. And keep in mind, I don't have a rank 5 5-star yet or a rank 2 6-star, so this gem would just be massive. So let's go over my options for this 2 to 3 generic gem, for now at least. So here's my current 6-star roster. I have a whopping 6 champions, so getting Thronebreaker with 6 6-star characters seems a bit wild, but it is doable somehow. So my options are Omega Sentinel, Elsa Bloodstone, Cassie Lang, Purgatory, Sandman, or of course Iron Patriot. Now, I can rule out Iron Patriot immediately. As funny as that would be, I want this account to succeed, and I feel like rank 3 Iron Patriot is the opposite of that, so for now, he is going to be a no. Sorry, but yeah, I'm not doing that. However, the other 5 champions are pretty good contenders. Purgatory is really fun to play and is a great quest clearer, so she is an option for sure, but she probably is the next worst option in my opinion. But then there's Sandman, Cassie Lang, Elsa Bloodstone, and Omega Sentinel. Now, Elsa Bloodstone is probably the most generic out of the 4 champions, as she is just a pretty good damage dealer, but utility-wise, isn't the strongest out there. Now, Sandman, Omega Sentinel, and Cassie Lang are all just pretty star-studded characters. Sandman has an onslaught utility and is a pretty good damage dealer once he gets going, and Cassie Lang is, of course, Cassie Lang. She has so much utility, her damage output is pretty great as well, and Omega Sentinel is fantastic all around. So it's between those 3 champions. Sandman is my favorite out of those 3 characters, but Omega Sentinel is pretty great too. But here's the thing, I don't have Sandman on my main account, only a rank 5 5-star, so having my first rank 3 be Sandman, who I don't have on the main account, would just be super cool. So that's why he is probably my best option right now. So if I do get Thronebreaker from this really weird plan, then it will probably be Sandman to take me to Thronebreaker. So how will I get this gold? Well, if I do Act 6 Chapter 3 and Act 6 Chapter 4, then I can get enough gold to buy the gem, rank up a 6-star champion to rank 3 and rank 2 beforehand, and I will still have a few 100,000 left over as well. So it seems like a decent idea. Right here you can see that, yeah, the rewards are pretty great as well. Besides the gold, obviously, there is 6-star shards, there is 5-star shards, there are some cav crystals, and there's a 1 to 2 generic gem as well. So that is a pretty massive thing as well. So the rewards really do help me get the gold needed to do the rank up and buy the gem as well. So it seems like a good plan, but there is one issue with this plan. I have 9 days to complete Act 6 Chapter 3 and Act 6 Chapter 4 with a roster that is really small and really is a bit underdeveloped, right? It's not the strongest roster out there. I don't have a single rank 5 champion yet. It's just my Cosmic Ghost Rider, who is rank 4 ascended. But let's go over each boss, right? Let's go over the bosses and see what my best options are for these bosses. But first, a roster check. Here is my main roster. I have Cosmic Ghost Rider, I have Omega Sentinel, Elsa, Cassie, Purgatory now, Sandman now, Captain Marvel, Symbiote Supreme, Joe Fixit, Iron Patriot, who is there for moral support. But yeah, it pretty much ends there. I only have 10 champions that are rank 3 plus, which is not a ton to work with, right? But I have some gold that I can afford to use somewhat, so there is that at least. And I also have a 4 to 5 tech gem. And I also have a 4 to 5 tech gem, and I have Ghost, Darkhawk, and Punisher 2099, who are all just pretty cool characters. And Ghost, of course, is Ghost, right? So if I rank 5 her, I'll just be pretty much set for content clearing. But I don't know if I want to do that just yet, because she is good and all, but also she's Ghost. She's kind of boring at times. Punisher would be the cooler rank up for sure, and he can put in a ton of work as well. So maybe Punisher, you know, a rank 5 Punisher Ascended seems pretty cool on this account, but let me know your thoughts between those 3 champions. But now the game plan. So for 6.3.1, I have Symbiote Supreme for Medusa, which is a lifesaver. For Nick Fury, that's the problem fight, because I don't have a good Nick Fury counter because all my strongest champions are really debuff reliant. So I might have to rank up a champion that doesn't use debuffs. For example, Punisher 299, Darkhawk even, or Ghost. All 3 of those champions, great contenders for this matchup. So I'm a bit torn on that regard. But I think Punisher will be the best for the fight because of his power control as well. And then for Havoc, there is Omega Sentinel, thankfully. For Iron Man Infinity War, there is some issues because he is armor break immune, which is bad for Cosmic Ghost Rider, but he can still take it, I think, with the Fury buff on the SP3. But if not him, then there is, I guess, Ghost could work if I rank her up. There is Cassie Lang who could work also. It's not impossible, is what I'm trying to say, right? It can be done with pretty much anyone, I think. I hope anyway. And Mysterio is just CGR, thankfully. Cap Infinity War is going to be CGR and Pain, or maybe Ghost can work well, or maybe Punisher and his power control, or Cassie Lang and her taunt. There are some options for sure. It's not going to be pretty, but it can be done on my account, thankfully. But if I open some 5-star crystals and hope for like Hitmonkey or something, that would make things a lot more easier. So 6.3 doesn't seem impossible, but it doesn't seem easy either. But I think I can do it with my resources and my unit so far. I hope anyway. But yeah, that's the plan for 6.3. And for 6.4, I'll just go over that another day, like once I beat 6.3, right? Because what's the point of going over 6.4 when I can't even beat 6.3? So we have to do 6.3 first. So I am nervous for that, man. I hope that I can do it. It might be a tough challenge, but hey, if I get it done, then I'll be happy, I'll be satisfied. But I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the 2 to 3 generic gem for 7.7 million gold. Is it worth it, or should I just skip it? Like, is this challenge or like this plan even worth going through? I think it is, because besides this gem, it is really hard to get tier 5 class catalysts, for me at least. So having that safe way to guarantee Thronebreaker seems like a really good value. And also, it is a generic gem, so any 6-star champion can go up to rank 3 in that way. So that's why I am really tempted to buy it, but I wanted to see y'all's thoughts on that, like, really badly. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this plan, and yeah, that's about it for me.